for an example, if God told me, I need you to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I need you to go, you and your wife to go full-time ministry. And me and my wife, we both got a job. We both had a very high-paying job. They were paying my wife more than she worked at before. They were paying me in the jewelry industry way more than I was getting paid before. But we quit our jobs to go full-time ministry to preach the gospel without a guaranteed paycheck at all. We didn't care about that. We were so fired up and said, look, we just want to serve people. And if our lives depend on serving people, that's why we gave our life to Jesus. We didn't give our life to Jesus to sip coffee and sit on our couch and care about us in our home. But we gave our life to Jesus so we can now give our life to other people and build other people up and encourage other people. But if I went to go pursue a job or a business or something I wasn't supposed to pursue, and I said, God, I want you to pour the blessing out to me. Nicole, I want you to pour out the blessing. Pour out the blessing into the bucket. God is like, I'm pouring out the blessing. Keep pouring. I'm like, God, please just give me the blessing. Where's the blessing? I can't pay my bills. I can't make rent on time. God, where's the blessing? And God is like, I'm pouring. Nicole, tell me, I'm pouring.
I'm pouring.
Come on, one more time.
I'm pouring.
Well, God, I just don't see it. I don't see the provision. I don't see where the finances is coming. I don't see the resources. I don't have any help. No one's for me. Everyone's against me. No one's helping me. God, please. Here's the thing. The whole time God has been pouring. The whole time blessing's been coming. But he's like, listen, the blessing is actually over here. Right now, don't pour no more. We need some of that water. Yeah, so the blessing is actually in the pool. But I wasn't in God's will, so I missed the blessing. Many of you are not doing what God has called you to do, so you're missing the provision that you're crying about. Many times we are crying about provision when God told us to turn away from the things that we were doing. He told us to drop our nets and follow him. When he said drop your nets and follow him, he didn't say drop it in your pocket for security. He didn't say drop it in your backpack for security, but he said, I want you to do exactly what I told you to do. If I told you to pursue to become a doctor, like a Dr. Simonette on our team, she said, I feel like my ministry right now is being a doctor, is working on me. We said, well, you better stay at that job as a doctor, because if you leave your job to preach on a platform, you are out of the will of God. And although you're an apostle, and although you're called to build, and although you're called to help with church planting organizations, you are called to be a doctor right now. If you are called to be a barista, you better make them coffees look good. You better learn how to make butterflies on a coffee, make hearts on a coffee, because you want to be in God's provision. Many of us sow. We keep productive, but we don't see the harvest. It's because just because you are productive, it doesn't mean that you're productive in what God is calling you to do. Just because your schedule is filled, it doesn't mean that you're doing the things that God has called you to do. Just because you have a bunch of meetings, it doesn't mean that God has called you to do those meetings. You have to understand, God is, what are you calling me to do? And when God spoke to us, he said, listen, I'm calling you to go into the ministry. I'm calling you to quit the business. I'm calling you for my wife to quit in the makeup industry. She was famous in makeup. Everybody knew her all over the world. She was killing it. And she was getting flown out to Elf Cosmetics and all of these companies. And I was growing in the fashion industry, getting ready to be a wardrobe consultant for athletes, all this great stuff. And God said, would you drop it all to pursue me? I said, Lord, pastors are broke. I said, I don't know about that. And he said, would you do it? I said, yes, I would do it. If it's for you, I'm going to do it. And guess what happened? It went from dry seasons. And I'm like, God, where's the provision? Pour a little bit. Where's the provision, God? I just need some provision. I need some provision. I need some income. I need some growth. God, I don't know. I can't even travel to these conferences that they're booking me for because I ain't got money. And then hold on. Then it went to, okay, God, I'm kind of in your will. Come on, pour a little bit. I'm kind of in your will, God. I kind of can feel a little bit of your favor. I felt a little splash on my foot just now, Nicole. I'm getting close to God's provision. Why? Because I started obeying him. I started trusting him. And then it got to a place to where we packed our bags, we packed our car, we moved across the country to start this church, start this digital church, and build God's kingdom. And then we got in the blessing of God. In the first week we got to Colorado, the CEO of the school came up to us. And after we gave our last $10, that was everything we had. We gave our last $10 and we said, Lord, we absolutely have nothing. We have nothing the CEO of the school came up to us and gave us $10,000. And then we started to see God's provision. And then we saw a team. We saw our team, Catherine, Beatrice, Nicole. They packed their bags. They said, we're moving from Texas all the way to Colorado. And then we saw Simonette say, hey, I'm coming to serve too. And I'm all the way out in the UK. And I'm supposed to be a doctor in the UK, but I'm going to serve everything I got for this ministry to help people be won over to the Lord, to help make disciples. And we started seeing people partner with the ministry. We start seeing other ministries shout us out, other ministries support us. Why? Because we started getting in God's provision. And what happens is when you get in God's provision, you start experiencing the favor. You start getting drenched in the favor. You start getting the blessing of God. Just drip it on me. I'm in your glory now. Come on. You could drip it on me. Now you start getting the glory. You start getting the favor. You start getting the provision. Everything that you were praying for, you start to see, and you no longer complain. But now you can teach other people. Come here, Beatrice, before the water come out. Now you can teach. This is not in my notes. Come, put your hand in here. Now you can teach other people. Come on, Nicole. Get this. Come on. Now you can say, hey, I could teach you how to be in God's will. Now I can show you what it's going to look like when the glory of God comes. Why? Because when you are in God's will, it doesn't just help you, but it helps everyone around you. Come on. I wish we could hear y'all clap, but I want y'all to clap in the chat.